How do you go 12 rounds and your face is so clean?
I work a lot for that, my friend.
Okay, tell me about meeting Gervonta Davis tonight. What was that like? First time you met him?
No, I like I say, I like.
Gervonta Davis fight day is coming closer, and it seems that he might be actually making a mistake. Well, at least that's what the pros have been saying.
It would have been, but I knew that somebody was going to get stopped. I did an interview prior that says it was going to be a stopper. So.
Did you think it was going to be Gervonta though?
I thought he was going to be the one stopping, but I honestly felt like it could have been either one of them. It was just who landed the big shot first.
Well, Canelo has not been silent about the fight. The undisputed super middleweight king finally waded into the lightweight waters, offering his thoughts on the highly anticipated Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin fights. This came as a surprise to many, as Canelo seems to be notoriously focused on his own upcoming battles, or should we say money battles.
Isn't it inevitable you fight Benavidez? That's what you
If
do.
the money is right, in the same night, I beat that guy. I don't care. Because you guys can ask for everything, and I do it, right? I do everything. I did every fight.
Yeah, lightweight is a fascinating division right now. There's a lot of young talent, and this Davis versus Martin's fight is a perfect example. It will be a good fight. Canelo, known for his measured and thoughtful approach, acknowledged both fighters' strengths. Gervonta, he's a phenomenal talent. He's got that explosiveness, that power in his hands. I've seen him. But he also hinted at a potential vulnerability for Davis. Frank Martin is a tough kid. He's undefeated, and he's got a good chin. He can take a shot and return fire. Tank needs to be careful not to get overconfident and walk into a right hand. The champion then offered a brief piece of advice for each fighter. According to him, for Gervonta, it's about using his footwork, staying alert, and setting traps for that big right hand of Frank. Canelo's words about Martin were equally measured. When it comes to Frank, this is his moment. He told Frank to not be intimidated by Tank's name and all the hype surrounding Gervonta. If he believes in himself, uses his jab, and remains focused, he could be a big problem to Tank. So yeah, maybe Tank might be getting a little bit overconfident for this fight, and everyone is seeing it, even Canelo himself. But Canelo is just the first in the chain of eyes looking at things deeper.
I'm not retired yet, my friend. No, they can say whatever they want, but it's not that easy. One fight, don't put in that position. You need to do a lot of things.
Terence Crawford, the undefeated welterweight champion with a reputation for surgical precision, offered another surprisingly genuine take on the fight. Known for his reserved demeanor and laser focus on upcoming opponents, Crawford's insights into the lightweight clash surprised many. You've got two different styles, two different approaches to the fight game, and that usually leads to a good war. Crawford, a master of controlled aggression, acknowledged Davis's explosive power. Tank, man, he's a walking power puncher. He's got that lightning quick left hand and a right hook that can put anyone to sleep. You can't blink when he's in the ring.
Gave a little prediction on the fight, talked about Harold has a metal shield and you have a glass shield, talked about the punch resistance. What do you think of Tank's success in that?
However, Crawford also hinted at a potential weakness for Davis. But that raw power can be a problem to him. If he gets carried away, looking for that one-punch knockout, it could leave him open for a counter. Shifting his focus to Martin, Crawford offered a different type of praise. Martin is relentless, throws combinations in bunches, and keeps the pressure on his opponents. Something tells me he's not coming in there just to survive. Intriguingly, Crawford seemed to relish the contrasting styles. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised by any outcome. It's a classic puncher versus volume puncher matchup. It's a fight we'll all love, but Tank better watch out. Crawford's unique perspective, coming from a fellow champion known for his technical brilliance, adds a new layer of intrigue to the Davis versus Martin fights. It seems that maybe Tank should take caution from all that is being thrown at him.
He not lead with ego. Like if you hear somebody like Tank say 147, I knock Bud out.
Well, he just talking. You know, he got the confidence in himself that.
But it doesn't end with Crawford. Charlo, the undisputed super welterweight champion and self-proclaimed lion, had something to say or roar about the fight too. Charlo, known for his aggressive style and knockout power, offered a refreshingly blunt take on the lightweight showdown. The fight will be good, it will be great, we might get to see Tank's first loss, and it will be interesting to watch. There ain't no easy nights, no room for hesitation. It's sink or swim, and this Davis versus Martin fight is a prime example. Charlo, a fighter who thrives on pressure, seemed to downplay the hype surrounding Davis. Look, Tank's a talented dude, no doubt. He's got that explosiveness, that good knockout power, but the power ain't everything. You gotta have heart. You gotta have that will to win when the going gets tough. Charlo, who's faced his fair share of adversity in the ring, seemed to identify a crucial factor for Davis's success. The key for Tank is going to be his chin. If he can take Martin's best shot, then he can hold up in there for long. Because Martin, believe me, he's going to bring the heat. He's undefeated and he's got something to prove. Shifting gears, Charlo offered a different perspective on Martin. People are overlooking Martin way too much. He's more than just a tough kid. He's got a good jab, throws combinations and bunches, and he's got decent pop in his own right. He ain't gonna be a pushover. Charlo, a champion who respects his opponents, acknowledged the potential for an upset. This fight has the potential to be a real war. Don't get me wrong, Tank's the favorite on paper, but if Martin can weather the early storm, frustrate Tank with his pressure, and land a clean shot, anything can happen. At this point, it seems that Tank might actually face the heat. Charlo's raw and unfiltered take on the fight, coming from a fellow champion known for his relentless aggression, challenged the dominant narrative surrounding Davis. While some saw a potential blowout, Charlo painted a picture of a potential dogfight, a brutal test of wills, and potentially the first Davis loss. And it doesn't end with Charlo. Naoya Inoue, the reigning bantamweight and super bantamweight champion, better known as the Monster, offered a surprisingly nuanced take on the upcoming Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin fights. Inoue, a ferocious puncher known for his devastating knockout power, surprised many with his focus on strategy and adaptability in the lightweight clash. This Davis versus Martin fight is fascinating, Inoue said through a translator in a recent interview. It's a clash of styles, a real test of a fighter's ability to adapt in the ring. Inoue, a master of controlled aggression, acknowledged Davis's fearsome reputation. Tank, he's a true knockout artist, Inoue said. His left hand is lightning fast, his right hook can turn out the lights. He's a fighter who can end a fight with a single punch. But here's the thing, he continued, Davis thrives on overwhelming his opponents with power. If Martin can manage to stay focused and use his footwork, he could frustrate Tank and force him into a different fight. Shifting his focus to Martin, Inoue offered a different type of analysis. Martin, yeah, he's a pressure fighter, he explained. He cuts off the ring well, throws combinations and bunches, and keeps a relentless pace. He could potentially overwhelm Tank with activity and force him to make mistakes. Inoue, a fighter known for his meticulous fight preparation, shed light on the strategic battle within the fight. The key for both fighters will be their ability to adapt, he said. Intriguingly, Inoue seemed to favor the fighter who can adapt first, and according to him, it seems to be Frank Martin. The first one to adjust to their opponent's style, the one who can impose their game plan, will likely emerge victorious. It's a mental battle just as much as a physical one. Tank should. He should keep alert or he could meet his end. Inoue's comments, delivered with his characteristic intensity and intelligence, left the boxing world with something to say. His unique perspective, coming from a smaller weight class but a fellow champion renowned for his technical brilliance, added a new layer of intrigue to the Davis versus Martin fights. Gennady Golovkin, the former middleweight king and current contender, also offered a stern message for Gervonta Tank Davis as he prepares for his fight against Frank Martin. Golovkin is known for his iron chin, relentless pressure, and devastating jab, and spoke with a quiet intensity that resonated with the weight of his experience. Lightweight is a shark tank, Golovkin said in his measured tone, a hint of a warning in his voice. Young fighters come in with all this power, all this flash, but sometimes they forget the fundamentals. This Davis versus Martin fight, it could be a lesson for both of them, but especially for Tank. He better train hard for this one. Golovkin, a master of the jab himself, seemed particularly concerned about Davis's potential underestimation of a seemingly simple tool. The jab, young man, Golovkin said, emphasizing each word. It's not just a scouting tool, it's a weapon. It keeps your opponent at bay, sets up your punches, and most importantly, it earns you respect in the ring. Golovkin, who's faced his fair share of knockout artists in his long and storied career, seemed to be cautioning Davis against falling into the trap of relying solely on power. Sure, Tank has that dynamite in his fists, but has he faced someone who will respect that power and make him work for it? Someone with a jab that can find a home through his guard all night? The former champion then elaborated on the potential dangers Martin's jab could pose to Davis. Martin's not just a come-forward fighter. He's got a good jab, a sharp one. He can use it to control the distance, disrupt Tank's rhythm, and open up opportunities for his own combinations. Golovkin, ever the strategist, also painted a picture of a potential upset. If Martin can use his jab effectively, make Tank uncomfortable, and force him into a brawl, it could be a long night for Tank. Young fighters forget, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and a jab is the foundation of any good offense. Now this is interesting as it is true, but not as true as Usyk words. Alexander Usyk, the reigning cruiserweight and heavyweight champion, offered a fascinating perspective on the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin fight. Usyk, known for his exceptional footwork, technical mastery, and tactical brilliance, issued a subtle yet intriguing warning for Davis, focusing on an often overlooked aspect of boxing. The lightweight division is full of explosive fighters, Usyk said in his thoughtful manner. But boxing is more than just power. It's about movement, strategy, and the ability to control the ring. This Davis versus Martin fight, it will be interesting to see how these elements play out, especially for Tank. Usyk, a master of movement, seemed particularly interested in Davis's reliance on his powerful punches. There's no doubt Tank can crack skulls, but can he do it consistently if his opponent is a moving target? Footwork, young man. It's the foundation of good offense and defense. Let's not forget that Usyk too has faced his fair share of power punchers throughout his career, and he seemed to be suggesting a potential vulnerability for Davis. Yes, Tank can land that one big shot, Usyk continued. But what if his opponent is constantly out of range, making him chase shadows? What if he gets tired throwing wild punches at thin air? The heavyweight champion then elaborated on the potential dangers Martin's footwork could pose to Davis. Martin might not have the same raw power as Tank, Usyk explained, but he's got good footwork, quick on his feet. He can use it to frustrate Tank, make him expend energy, and then capitalize on openings when Tank gets tired. The fight will be amazing. It's good to watch. So many things to see there, but I sense that Tank might be in for some trouble. I think if he wins, which is less likely, even if he wins, it won't be that easy. He might be put off by one right hand. But it continues to get even more interesting. Deontay Wilder, the former heavyweight champion and self-proclaimed bronze bomber, characteristically opted for a more explosive approach when discussing the upcoming Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin fights. Unlike his more cerebral counterparts, Wilder, known for his devastating right hand and flamboyant personality, offered a prediction that was both entertaining and surprisingly insightful. Yes, the fight will be a good show of young power, Wilder boasted in a recent interview. This ain't no ballet, this is a war. We got two warriors in that ring, two guys with hammers in their hands. It's gonna be a knockout, mark my words. Wilder, a walking highlight reel himself, clearly relished the prospect of a fight built on raw power. Tank, that dude's a walking bomb, Wilder added. Left hook like a meteor, right hand like a comet. One touch, goodnight Irene. However, beneath the bluster, Wilder offered a glimmer of respect for Martin. Now don't sleep on his opponent, he cautioned. He's got that dog in him, that fighting spirit. He's hungry, and he's coming for that belt. He might not have the same boom in his fist, but he ain't no slouch. Wilder, a fighter who has experienced both the glory and heartbreak of knockout endings, seemed to paint the fight as a high-stakes gamble. I think the biggest part of this fight will be all about timing. It will be about who can land that fight-ending shot first. One mistake, one misplaced punch, and it lights out. But there were other names who could not help themselves out but throw in some spice.
Then been in jail, I then been on a house arrest and things like that. I'm just happy to be back here where I'm comfortable at, where I'm, I could be flawless and, and do what I do best, and that's...
Shakur Stevenson, the undefeated super featherweight champion and self-proclaimed Sugar, offered his usual spiced and competitive take on the Gervonta fight. Known for his flashy skills and outspoken personality, Stevenson's comments were a mix of playful anticipation and a subtle reminder of his own ambitions. Two exciting young fighters, different styles, guaranteed fireworks. I can't wait to see who comes out on top. Stevenson, a master of technical boxing, acknowledged the strengths of both fighters. We've always overestimated Tank, if you ask me. Maybe Frank can finally put an end to his name. He's got the power, but his overconfidence might put him down.
If there's a gun to your head, when are we gonna see the Shakur Tanks, the Shakur Devin, the Devin Tanks?
There's only one fight that is really
the one
I like all around.
Can do everything.
Yeah, boxing.
Yeah,
me and Tank the biggest fight.
That's the one.
It's the biggest fight in the world.
However, Stevenson couldn't help but inject a bit of friendly competition into the mix. Whoever wins, though, he continued, they gotta be ready for me next. I'm the real deal at 135, and I ain't scared of nobody. They want that lightweight strap, gotta go through Sugar first.
Contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right, so why people even talk like he the best at, he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126.
While some of us see a rivalry brewing between Stevenson and the winner of Davis versus Martin, Stevenson himself seemed genuinely excited about the upcoming fight. It's good for the division, you know? He explained. More eyes on lightweight, more big fights down the line. This is going to be a great night for boxing fans, and hey, maybe I can learn a thing or two watching from ringside. We all can't wait to see how the fight turns out, and with all that's being said, and with all the warnings being thrown at Davis, we might get to see something interesting. Gervonta Tank Davis. The name itself conjures images of a fighter with fists of iron, leaving opponents in a state of disarray. His undefeated record and knockout power have earned him a reputation as a force to be reckoned with. But on June 15th, when he faces the undefeated Frank Martin, a new challenger emerges, one with a nickname as intriguing as his skill set, the Problem Child. Is this the fight where the seemingly invincible Tank might spring a leak? Well, let's try to analyze whether whatever the pros are saying makes some sense. Davis is a wrecking ball. He does throw powerful punches with relentless aggression. But what if his opponent isn't interested in a slugfest? This is where Frank Martin becomes a problem. A southpaw known for his elusive footwork and sharp counterpunching. He could turn this fight into a dance, frustrating Davis with his movement and peppering him with jabs from unexpected angles. When it comes to this, Davis's strength lies in his ability to cut off the ring and unload heavy punches. If Martin can maintain his mobility and avoid getting pinned down, it could disrupt Davis's rhythm and game plan. However, Davis has shown surprising agility in the past, so dismissing his ability to adjust his tactics against a moving target would be a mistake. This fight could be a fascinating chess match between a powerful force and a cunning strategist. When it comes to their different styles, boxing history is filled with examples of contrasting styles clashing in the ring. Here we have the classic boxer versus puncher matchup. Davis, the epitome of raw power, versus Martin, the technician with a focus on precision. Some believe Martin's calculated approach could neutralize Davis's aggression. He could potentially exploit any defensive lapses with pinpoint punches, racking up points, and frustrating the champion. Now, this does hold some good weight. A well-placed jab can be just as effective as a knockout blow. If Martin can control the distance and dictate the pace, he could expose any weaknesses in Davis's defense. However, underestimating Davis's chin and ability to take punishment could be a fatal mistake. This fight might hinge on whether Martin's finesse can withstand Davis's fury, or if sheer power will ultimately prevail. An interesting wrinkle in this fight is the rematch clause in Davis's favor. This means even if Martin pulls off the upset, he might have to face Davis again to solidify his claim as champion. Some believe this knowledge could work for or against Martin. On the one hand, it could fuel his determination to win decisively, leaving no room for a rematch. On the other hand, the pressure of potentially needing a second victory to be truly recognized might cloud his judgment and lead to uncharacteristic aggression. Psychological warfare is a real thing in boxing. The rematch clause adds an interesting layer to this fight. Will Martin be fueled by a desire to leave no doubt, or will the pressure of potentially needing another fight against Davis hinder his performance? This psychological battle could play a significant role in the outcome. There's no doubt this will be the biggest fight of Martin's career. The bright lights, the roaring crowd, the pressure of dethroning an undefeated champion. It can all be overwhelming for a fighter who hasn't experienced it before. Can Martin handle the enormity of the occasion and perform at his peak? Or will the pressure get to him, causing him to fight outside his comfort zone and make crucial mistakes? And yes, Martin's past performances have been impressive, but they haven't been on the same stage as this upcoming fight. How he deals with the pressure will be a crucial element in determining the outcome. Can he stay calm, focused, and execute his game plan? Or will the bright lights dim his boxing brilliance? While some cracks are appearing in the seemingly invincible Tank armor, dismissing him remains foolish. This fight is a clash of styles, promising fireworks both inside and outside the ring. Can Martin, the problem child, outsmart and outmaneuver the powerful Tank? Or will Davis silence the doubters with another dominant performance? June 15th can't come soon enough. Well, what do you think? Make your predictions in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.